Hi everyone, Anthony Morganti here. In this video, I'm going to show you how you could use Photoshop to darken the background behind a macro or behind a pet dog, pet cat, a person, or in this case, a bird. This works great on macros of flowers or images of animals where you need to darken the background. Now I chose this image of the bird because it's just a bit more difficult because of the feather detail. And I have to show you how to refine an edge here. So I think you'll learn a little more because I'm using this image. Okay, now the first thing we need to do is we need to get a selection of the subject, whether it's a flower, a cat, a dog, a person, or even a bird. To select the subject, get any selection tool. So just hit the W key on your keyboard and you'll get one of these three tools. And once you have one of those three tools, at the top you'll see two buttons. What we need to do is just click on Select Subject. And when you do that, you'll get marching ants around the subject, or what Photoshop thinks is the subject. And it did an okay job. It did an okay job on the bird's head and shoulders, but those feathers are a little questionable, as well as the rock it is standing on. I want that rock selected as well. So what I'll need to do is add to the selection. So I'm going to get the quick selection tool. I'm going to go back to that grouping of three tools and make sure I'm using the quick selection tool and make sure that it's in plus brush mode. It's the middle brush right here. By default, it should be there. And then the bracket keys make the brush larger and smaller. The right bracket key larger, left bracket key smaller. First thing I'll do is I'll select this rock down here. And then I'll select the rest of the bird's foot. So you can see I just brush across it and select that. Now I need to do something, better selection of these feathers. So I'm going to come down here and try to select more of the feathers. Now this could be a little difficult. You can see how it over selected down here, but we'll fix that in a moment. And we'll come over here on the left side, or my left side, the bird's right side. And it over selected there a little bit, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. We'll fix it. Now to get rid of that over selection, what I need to do is get a minus brush. And you could go up there and click on it, but the easiest way is just hold the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC. Oops, didn't want to do that. Let me hit Command plus a couple times. There we go. All right, now hold that Option key in, then come in and get rid of that over selection. And it's, if I didn't say it or if I missaid it, it's Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC. And that will toggle between the plus and minus brushes. Okay, so we'll get better selection there, better selection there. And you'll see as you do it, it will get better each time you do it. It gets a little more refined. All right, so we have this, and I'm going to call it a rough selection. I need to refine the edges around those feathers. Now to do that, go up here to this button, Select and Mask. And then you'll be in the Select and Mask mode. Now, there's all different types of backgrounds you could use. I really like the red background, and that's usually what I use. Use whatever works best for your image and works best for you. You could go over to the view, and you could see you could go to a black background and so on. Now, the black background looks okay, but it's not really giving me a real good indication of the edges like the red background does. So that's why I'm using that. You could affect the opacity here with this slider so I could better see the feathers that aren't being selected when I pull that opacity down. Now I need to kind of get these feathers back. And to do that, I'm going to use the Refine Edge brush. Over here on the left-hand side, it's the second brush from the top. I'm going to be in plus mode, and I'm going to use a relatively soft brush. All right. And again, like most brushes in Photoshop, you affect the size of the brush with the bracket keys, left bracket key smaller, right bracket key larger. And I'm going to just go over the edges of these feathers over here and these feathers over here, and then the ones down here are the tricky ones. So we'll do our best down here. And you can see it's kind of making it a little blurry maybe, but you'll find, you don't have to get every single, like I'll call it a flyaway feather. You don't need to really do that. You just need to get a good representation of those feathers, and you should be good. Now, overall it looks pretty good. One thing that is bothering me, let me come down a little bit here. I missed a selection part right in here. See in here on the bird's neck? So I need to fix that. Now I'll try to do it with the refined edge brush, but I'm not sure if it will work. And it kind of messed it up. So what I'll do now is I'll get the brush directly below it. This is just a regular brush. You either paint to add or paint to remove. And it's not a smart brush, meaning wherever I paint right now, I'm in an add mode. It's going to add. Right? So I did okay there, I think. Now I'll go to the minus side of the brush, and wherever I paint, it will just remove. Now the nice thing here is the bird's head is black, and I'm going to put a dark background, probably a solid black background. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal if I don't have a perfect edge right in that area. But I should have caught that when I did my initial selection before I came to this screen. And then I could have used the quick selection tool like I did on the rock below to make that a little better. But here is our selection. I think I'm going to run with this. This is good. But we're affecting the background. We're not really going to do anything to the bird itself or the rock. So I need to invert this selection. So I'm going to click this button right here. Click on invert. So there's our inverted selection. You can see I have a little bit of a mistake right here. I'm just going to add to it. Oops, didn't want to do that. Sorry. It's the backwards because I inverted it. So I'm going to undo that by hitting Command or Control Z. And then I'll actually want to subtract from the selection. Just get up there real carefully and fix it. All right. Fixed it. Now we have our selection inverted. We're ready to go. Click OK. And you'll see we have all these marching ants now. Now there's all different tools you could use to darken the background. I like to use levels. So I'm going to use a levels adjustment layer. And as soon as I click on levels, the levels adjustment layer, because I have a selection, you'll see it will automatically put a mask there. Our marching ants are gone, but we have now a mask showing that the background is selected. Then what I could do to darken the background is go to our levels in this far left slider. Just pull it to the right. You can see how I'm darkening that background. Simple as that. Look at that. Just enough to make it look natural. So there's before, and just pull it back. Part of the reason why I wanted to darken the background, you can see that this kind of little like dirty looking spots. I just didn't like that. That was on the wall. This was at the Erie Zoo in Erie, PA. And I just didn't like that. And there it is. Darken the background. Very easy to do in Photoshop. And that's it. I hope that helps you. Maybe, darken the backgrounds behind those macro images you have, or images of animals like a bird like this, or maybe even your pet dog or cat. This method works really well. Thank you, everyone who watches my videos. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon.